Hi, it's Odeean here. Today I've got Hasbro's Titan Returns Leader Class Blaster. Straight off the bat you can see it's a really solid effort for capturing that essence of Blaster. He looks so much like G1 Blaster, except the little bits that are different are really improvements. So you've got this visor which is split here, a little bit comic-like. It's a good compromise. I like the shape of these horns on his head. I did read the comic a lot, so I know that Blaster had a different face, and I'm going to show it in a minute, but the face on this KFC version was more like that comic look. But I think that the medium they've gone through here is really good. Now he's got that, more importantly than all that, he's got that feel. So I had G1 Blaster before, which I sold, but he always felt like he had a lot of smooth, big panels. He wasn't super heavy, but he was just dense enough, and this has that same feel. When you grab it, there's not bits and pieces flying off everywhere. It feels like a good solid figure. He does have a blasterish looking rifle, so it's not exactly what we have in some of the third parties or G1. It doesn't have this shape at the back, but it does have some key elements like the circle here, the part at the front that looks a little bit like a silencer, the scope. So you can definitely tell it is Blaster's rifle. I would have liked it to have been a little bit bigger. I don't see the point in them making it so small. Blaster always had a very long gun, but pretty happy with it. The colors that they've used in the plastic, especially the yellow, I'm pretty happy with. The red looks good on camera. In person, it's a little bit duller than the red that Blaster had in G1, but it's pretty close. I am happy with it, and given that it's plastic, not paint, I think that it will be pretty durable. Now, I like this on the front. This is not a sticker. This Autobot symbol, it comes with the figure. It's just, I think, tampoed on. See-through plastic used here. I really like that. Now he does have the release mechanism, which I'm going to push. Now I'm going to get more to that in a minute, but that works really smoothly. No lockups. So one thing that Blaster did always have back in the day was his button would jam, and that was a pain in the ass. No such jamming problem here. It works really well. I'm very happy with the styling. On the front of the legs, we've got these speakers here. I don't have my G1 anymore, but I do have, as I showed a moment ago, the KFC version. Now, I kind of regret buying this because of the shiny paint, the chromed paint. I think it was a mistake. If I knew that they were going to release a plain red, I would have waited for that. I didn't, so this is the only one I've got of him. But you know, just look at them. I know this is a more toy version, this is more masterpiece, but honestly I think that this leader class figure from Hasbro, it looks more like Blaster. I mean, I know Masterpiece is supposed to have some degree of realism, but Blaster's just a straight up figure who doesn't have too much complexity, so they can choose to make it look whatever they like, and I think this is done. It's done pretty well. Like, I just like to see it. Now I've chosen to show this with the handle down. There is a handle for his boombox / stereo mode. In the box he actually ships with his handle up like that. Now I don't think that it is supposed to be that way. I mean, if you wanted to, you could permanently have it up like that, but I don't think that looks very cool. Much happier to have it down in its place like that. The posability is really excellent. I mean, you've got soft detents in all these places. Like, you can actually hear that one. Some of them you can't hear as much as others, but I mean, he's got joints all over the place. Now, he doesn't have a wrist swivel, which is a small downside, but pretty much everything else he has. Now, these aren't spring joints. We're not at that level of engineering anymore in Transformers. They are just that flexible plastic pushing in on the little detents there, but it seems to work very smoothly and very well, and he's got plenty of notches, so you don't get stuck with some huge stance which is a bit unnatural. So all of his joints have plenty of notches like that, so it's very effective. Now, down on the ankle level, he does have ankle tilts, and you can see if you go far enough it does become ugly, but they put this little I don't know what you'd call that, this fake rubber cover of the joint, so if you get to about this much it can look like that sheath is covering up the ankle. Now, there is no swivel at the waist, but it does have these articulated skirts so that you do get a nice guard on the leg all the way up to that level. Just quickly for some more size comparison, here is, who is this? This may be the Unique Toys Blaster. This is a kind of slightly tall deluxe figure, maybe scaled to go with older deluxes or some of the Masterpiece cars. Here's Blaster with Cerebros from Titan's Return. Again, this guy is not really a deluxe, not really a Voyager, but probably closer to a deluxe. And here he is with his little friend, I think, Rewind. This is a cool use of the mold. I'm happy that they made him. The one that looks like a lion, which I don't want to call Steeljaw because that's not what they've called him, but he's pretty shitty, and I'll probably just keep him in this data module form. But I quite like Rewind in robot mode, pretty cool. To demonstrate his feature, let's pop this open. Now you can see he comes with this, well, I don't really know what it is, but I think it's some kind of data cassette. I can see a chair in there for the Titan Master, so this is some kind of sled for him to fly around on. I think the real point of it though is to be able to get the extra figures that you buy to put in. So, I mean, as I showed a moment ago, the Rewind, he's pretty awesome. Yeah, pretty awesome. Look at that. Very clean looking face. I really like that. Let's insert this dude in here. Now, some of these, maybe it's just this one, but it's a little bit tight. It could be that I haven't transformed him nicely, but you know, I really think that I did do it properly. I mean, it seems to be as tight as it's going to get. So let's try it the other direction. That direction goes in a little bit better. And it still functions, you know. It doesn't jam up. Turning him around to the back, this in here, the corner of that module goes into his butt, but it's not very obtrusive. Let's have a closer look at the Titan Master. So we just flip back the helmet like that, pop it off, and there we have Blaster's face with the helmet removed. It's a pretty cool face. Now he's a leader size figure, so the actual face part of this Titan Master is quite broad and bigger than on some of the other smaller figures, because his helmet will give him a better proportion once it's on. Now he can, just like all the other guys, fold open like that, and once you see, he's a tiny little blaster, just like the bigger figure. So that's pretty cool. Let's sit him inside, see how he can pilot this. So he's quite firm. His width here kind of pegs him in. He can scoot around in this, I mean, I don't know what you call that. I mean, some kind of hover vehicle. Let's plug the gun in just to give him a little bit of firepower. So maybe he's a mobile gun platform. I don't know. Let's transform him into blaster mode. So we're going to start off, flip these hands in. Just going to stick the arms up like that. Now you'll see there's this little tab underneath. We want that to remain pointing down. Flip this up like that. Open the hatch at the back, get the head underneath, and tab that shut. Next, we want to focus on these legs. So we're going to unpeg these flaps at the back and just put them right out like that. Looking at the foot, you can see there's a kind of swing bar, which we want to collapse in like this, just to make the feet so that they're going to be recessed over here. Now, there's another swing bar here. You can see it's a little bit of red plastic. You want to swing that around like this, just up behind that foot in there. That will give you exactly the right spacing to tab it in, and then there's another tab at the back which I didn't really show properly, so let's try that again on the other leg. Swing that. tab these in, and then one more tab up here. That's it. One thing I will note is that he has these little flaps on the inside which are looking like this. They're basically ramps for the bass mode to connect to other basses. That one on the inside of this side had a little bit of tolerance issue where it rubs on one of the tabs that hold the transformation together, and at least for me, I just pulled it off because I got sick of it popping the transformation apart. But maybe your one will vary. I'm not so sure. It could have been just a bad tolerance on mine. I'm not sure. And it's a pretty good blaster. I mean, maybe it's not exactly G1, but especially compared to pretty much every other Hasbro offering that we've got, this is very recognizable. You can tell what it is. I mean, today we still have devices with speakers on them, and this looks very recognizable as a music device. It's pretty cool. I like the handle. It's a good sturdy handle for carrying it. I think that's pretty awesome. You could actually walk around with this. If you're a kid, you could actually walk around with it and pretend that it really is what it looks like it is. The back side is not hollow. It's nice and solid, clean lines on the back, and even the underside, not too bad. So all in all, pretty successful transformation. The only little bit of unrealism is that the data cassette is actually so big. If it was truly a modern device, you'd expect something smaller than that, but play value wise, that's awesome. I mean, it seems to be going in more smoothly now as well. Very, very happy with that. So cool. To get to the bass mode from this mode is relatively easy. So we're just going to pop these panels down at the front, fold out this little flap. The foot section goes here, and we fold up some kind of communications equipment. Next, I'm going to rotate the shoulder upside down. Flip out these guns like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now you can see I did pull off this flap that I mentioned earlier. I'm just going to pop that back on, and pretty much there we have bass mode. You can see in bass mode you can pop in other figures, like there's little Titan Master from Fortress Maximus. Here's Blaster manning the gun up here. This turret where he sits, it's not the best fit. I mean, they don't really sit in there that great. He can just, gravity can hold him in. He doesn't peg in. If you wanted him to peg in, his feet can peg in up like that, but that's a bit ridiculous. I'm happy to just have him balancing there, manning that gun. I've gone and pegged that rifle into the side here. And one thing that is a little bit weird is that you can put that down and then there's a 5mm peg there. So I should be able to get this to go in upside down, I guess. I mean, it's got a bit of a space issue because of this bump here, but it can kind of peg in like that, but it doesn't look very good. I think I prefer just to have it with these pointing out like that. But that's nice, into the tradition of little basses that I used to buy when I was a kid. Like I had some Micromaster basses. I loved my Micromaster basses, and this is well and truly in that vein. And I am 100% sure that these choices are a hit with kids, because it wasn't really my decision to actually pick this up. My daughter saw pictures of this online, and several times she just told me, "Dad, I want to play with that. Can you get it? That looks good. It looks like," because little places to put the little men. And so she convinced me to buy it. I'm so happy that she did, because this is good. I mean, in robot mode, looks good. Cassette mode, looks good. Bass mode, so much fun. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. at least 10 points where you can plug little guys. So that's quite a lot of figures that you can fit in this base. My final thoughts. I'm very satisfied with this as a blaster. Now, you may or may not be picking up the whole Titan Masters line. Maybe that's your cup of tea, maybe not, but I can strongly recommend this as a blaster for any line. This is probably the best blaster that Hasbro have done, and it's pretty fantastic. Now, you can always just ignore this and pretend that he isn't a headmaster. I mean, blaster's not really meant to be a headmaster, and I think it's pretty safe to say that you can just pretend that that doesn't happen. Oh, can I do it? Can't quite do it. So you would still have to pull it out for transformation if you want to tell yourself it's not a headmaster. That might be a problem, but just overlook it. It's not a major thing. Does that mean I'll be picking up the Soundwave variant of this mold? I think not. So that's not 100% sure yet, but haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, and that's just because I feel like there are other good versions of Soundwave, especially the Masterpiece version at this scale, at this size, and I want my Soundwave to be a little bit smaller, and I know that's not faithful to the media, but for me, the toys are kind of what's dictating that desire, and my G1 Soundwave was smaller than my G1 Blaster, so I feel like my toys should be like that again today. So I would be open to buying other Soundwaves, but just I don't want to buy a Soundwave based on this mold. And also, I don't want my Soundwave to look physically like my Blaster. They're supposed to be different toys, so I think for that reason I will not pick up the recolor of this. With this figure today in the mail, I did get a bunch of other Hasbro Transformers, which I feel weird in saying buying a bunch of Hasbro Transformers hasn't been something that I do lots of lately. But in my previous video with Ultra Magnus, I did mention that I felt they've taken a turn for the better and everything's moving in good directions. And this has just underscores that doubly for me. I think that it's a good solid figure, and I can't wait to open some of the others. So they look quite awesome, and let's hope they can keep doing it. Now, in the room over here, which is a bit off camera, I have my box, the back of the box from G1 Fortress Maximus, and looking at the back of that box, there's quite a few figures. Let's just pull the camera off. Quite a few figures that we've recently got. Looking at my Chrome Dome, and I know 8-Face, we've got this tiny little vehicle which is supposed to be 8-Face. Just a bunch of figures in here. I'm starting to really hope that the ones that haven't been done yet we're going to get. I would love to get me a Misfire. He was one of my favorite toys as a kid, and just if we could get Titan Masters of everything in this box, I would be just unbelievably happy. So that's what I'm wishing for. So that's my video review of Titan Masters Blaster. I'm Odeean. Thanks for watching.